Rest in peace. Yeah.
I think that's their best one.
Everything.
But I picked So Far So Good So What because it's got a punky vibe, and I think Dave will really like it.
Yeah. I like the political views in there too.
Back when Dave Mustaine had good political views.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So is this how the microphone's supposed to work?
Yeah, just I think you need to shove it even further down your throat. Just
Pulling on my pants?
well, that too.
Yeah.
That's why we got you
God,
double
look, at,
mics.
look at that sound.
I've been waiting for when I can finally peek at
Like the giant chunk.
Yeah. Clippy McClippenstein
What do you
here.
call me, you skinny bitch?
Oh, I can't wait to
Hey,
hear
Ken,
how
is your
horrible
favorite reporter Ken Klippenstein?
we haven't done our clip episode yet.
I don't know.
All right. Welcome to Side 1, Side B with Dave and Steve. I'm Steve,
I'm Dave.
and today we have a guest. Hi, Mario.
Hi, I'm Mario.
Mario is my former bandmate in Megaton and Valley of Shadows, so we put out a lot of songs together. And now Mario plays in a band called Altura.
That's right. And we've got all of our demos done for the studio. We're ready to go in, do an album. We're probably just going to release a couple singles at once here and there. And then we also have a show coming up January 17th at the Reverb in Omaha, Nebraska. We'll be headlining that show.
Oh, nice.
That's what's going on with us.
How would you describe how your band sounds?
We have a lot of different songs. You know, it ranges from rock to hard rock to alternative to jazzy. So we try to mix a lot of different styles. We get a little proggy once in a while too, so that's always fun.
Yeah, on that track you played for us, I'd say it was a pretty good mix of
All of the above that you just mentioned?
everything you just mentioned.
Yeah. And then we also have our main frontman. He also raps and sings too. So there's some songs that have some rap parts in them and things
Nice.
like that too. So yeah, we try to switch it up, keep it fun, keep it interesting.
Well, there you go.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite albums. I don't know if I could pick one single favorite album, but this one would be a contender. Fellas, what do you know about the band Mastodon?
I don't know them too well. Like, I know they exist. I know the big single that they had on the Blood Mountain album, what was the Colony of Birchmen? I know that song.
Or Blood and Thunder?
Or Blood and Thunder. They had a few singles on that one. Yeah. I kind of know the hits from one album basically. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of their biggest ones. Mario, I know you're very familiar with them.
Oh yeah, first time I saw them, they opened up for Clutch in Lincoln, Nebraska at the Royal Grove, and nobody in this area really knew who they were. A buddy of mine that I was with, he said, hey, he knew who they were. He was like, hey, watch the drummer, man, watch the drummer. And I'm like, okay. They got on stage, and I think it was their, what was their first album? Call of the Mastodon, I believe.
That was their demo album.
So it was the album after that one.
Remission.
Remission. They was on Remission. Yep. Sorry about that. And yeah, they just blew the place apart.
Yeah.
Everybody's heads were twisted backwards, and I was in love with them ever since. And since then, I've been following them, seen them a million times. Got to meet Bron Daler once. That was on the Hunter tour.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I got a picture somewhere on my phone with that, but saw them on the last tour when they came through just this last summer. They played the entire Leviathan album from front to back.
Oh, nice.
And then a couple extra songs. And that was with they were it was just songs off their newer album. So
Yeah.
just they were like more like encore songs. But yeah, it was really cool to see Leviathan in its entirety once again. Yeah, love Mastodon. I love everything they do.
Their drummer, I think, is one of the best metal drummers ever.
Oh, absolutely. Just one of my huge influences too.
Yeah, it got to be in one of my top 10.
Yep. And I love how like every album sounds different. You know, they're not trying to replicate the same thing or beat the same kind of sound to death. They just kind of keep evolving.
Yeah, they don't really have two albums that sound the same to me.
No.
They change it up every time, and yeah, I really respect that about them too.
Yep. There's this other album. I don't know if people are too familiar with it. They kind of released it as like a B-side album or a side album. They had like extra songs in the studio from their previous album. It's called A Cold Dark Place, and it's mainly just all songs that are kind of like softer and more just kind of spacey. And
Yeah, I think I listened to that.
it's really, really good. So
Yeah.
I just want to put that out there. If you're feeling that type of mood, you know, like just that's a really good album for that.
Yeah, it's definitely a good one to do drugs to. Well, today we're going to be taking a look at what I consider to be a modern classic called Crack the Sky. This is the fourth studio album released on March 24th, 2009, a day after my birthday, through Reprise, Sire, and Relapse Records.
You were born in 2009?
Yes. I'm very mature for my age. I grew really fast. Debuted number 11 on the Billboard 200. And yeah, it is an album that I've listened to a bunch of times, very familiar with it. I think a few times I've heard people compare Megaton to Mastodon, our old band Megaton, me and Mario's. And they were definitely a big influence on my songwriting and Serena's songwriting and certainly your drumming. So it was, if you're a fan of Mastodon, you should probably check out our Destroyer of Worlds album because I think it's in that same vein.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's a concept album.
Yes, about dying
Yeah.
in a bunch of different horrible ways.
Yeah.
My solo album I'm about to release is all about angsty workplace drama, but I used to write songs about everybody dying, so I think I've narrowed it down to just self-hatred instead of world hatred. This album, I think, is probably their most progressive. I would say they were absolutely on top of their game when it came to songwriting. I will forever love this album.
It's got a lot of passion in there from each of their members because their members were going through a lot at that time, you know.
They were, yeah.
And they have been off and on throughout the years, whether it be, you know, tragedies with cancer or, you know, just other illnesses or losing loved ones, you know. So you can tell they put their heart into it.
Yeah, and the name of the album itself is a homage to his sister, Sky Daler, who committed suicide at age 14. My sister passed away when I was a teenager, and it was awful, and there's no better way to pay tribute to a lost loved one than having an opportunity to be in a group with my friends, and we make art together. Her name was Sky, so Crack the Sky means a lot of different things. For me personally, it means the moment of being told you lost someone dear. That moment is enough to crack the sky. So pretty heavy. Like Mario said, they were all kind of going through a lot of things, and it really comes out in the music, I think. David, this will interest you. During the composition of the record, Brent Hines listened to In the Court of the Crimson King by King Crimson every day as an inspiration, while Daler and Troy Sanders listened to Pink Floyd's Animals.
Oh, nice.
So two of your favorite records.
Yeah, two of my favorite records.
Yeah.
Two of my favorite prog records. Yeah.
Just to talk a little bit about the story behind this album, it deals with the art aesthetics of Tsarist Russia astral travel, out-of-body experiences, and Stephen Hawking's theories on wormholes. Quote, there is a paraplegic, and the only way that he can go anywhere is if he astral travels. If he goes out of his body into outer space, and a bit like Icarus, he goes too close to the sun, burning off the golden umbilical cord that is attached to his solar plexus. So he is in outer space and he is lost. He gets sucked into a wormhole. He ends up in the spirit realm and he talks to the spirits, telling him that he is not really dead. So they send him to the Russian cult. They use him in a divination and they find out his problem. They decide that they're going to help them. They put his soul inside Rasputin's body. Rasputin goes to usurp the Tsar and he is murdered. The two souls fly out of Rasputin's body through the crack in the sky, and Rasputin is the wise man that is trying to lead the child home to his body because his parents have discovered him by now and think that he is dead. Rasputin needs to get him back into his body before it's too late, but they end up running into the devil along the way, and the devil tries to steal their souls and bring them down. There are some obstacles along the way. So a lot of things going on with the story on this one.
That cover makes sense based off of that description.
Speaking of cover, we'll hand this over to Dave to describe.
All right. I see on the front, there's like a rainbow cosmic wormhole thing right in the middle. I wouldn't have known that was a wormhole if you hadn't read that description, but, you know, it makes sense to me. In the center, there's like a golden and red bear standing on top of a planet. And then flanked by either side, there are two psychedelic Rasputins who are they're mirroring each other in that, you know, like one has an orb hovering out of his right hand, and then on the other side, the other one out of his left hand. So it's, perfectly mirroring each other. A lot of cool to follow, like wavelength type patterns in the background. And then on the very back, there is a sun breathing fire. There appears to be the cosmic Icarus floating. And then this is both above like a series of like blue and purple and red clouds. Yes. Oh, and this is a German pressing.
Yes. So it's probably semi-racist. No.
It looks like, based on how you describe the story, that the first side is up until they die, like right before the Russian Revolution with Rasputin, and then the second side is the spirit realm adventures after that.
I think so, yeah.
Because the last track is called The Tsar, and it's a 4-parter. Then after that, it starts talking about ghosts.
Mario, what do you think of the cover?
Did I miss any details, too?
I think you got all the details. It's very nice. It stands out. I like the colors. Again, there's a lot of symbolism on here and everything. So I don't have really too much more to add. Are we doing this too? Or
The sleeve isn't fancy, but hey, there's an insert, though, that I didn't...
Yeah, there's an insert with everybody's name on there, what they do in the band. Rich Morris, synth, and mellotron.
Oh, nice.
Did I say that right?
Yep, yeah.
One of my favorite instruments.
Which I know they used, I don't know if this is the same guy on synths that they used on their last album, but I think they kind of made him an official 5th member of the band now. Like, he's on tour with them and everything, and they've got him actually out in front where everybody can see him. He's not hidden in the back. So.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I hate it when bands hide their keyboard players.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're gonna have him on most of the songs, just bring him out. He's part of the band.
Yeah.
We talked about that on our very first episode about Black Sabbath, how they would hide their keyboard player behind the stage. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's like, come on, guys. Keyboard players are people too.
Yeah.
Especially if you're gonna go into Prague, you need those keyboards.
I don't know, Dave. We should start doing that. We'll just start hiding you behind the stage from now on.
I'm the lead singer.
Where's the voice coming from? All right. Yeah, we'll just go through the lineup here. We got Bran Daler on drums, percussion, backing vocals, and co-lead vocals on Oblivion and Crack the Sky, which not to toot my own horn, but I sing and drum, but I couldn't imagine singing and drumming and playing what he plays.
Yeah.
There's a lot of songs where it's like, I don't know, Mario, if you've done it much, but like I almost have to make the singing like part of the beat, or else like I get lost, you know?
Yeah, very hard to do a polyrhythm over that. Huh?
Yeah.
You're already using 4 limbs, as opposed to 2, like most instrumentalist singers.
Yeah. Brent Hines on lead guitar, banjo, code lead vocals, except on Corellia and Crack the Sky. Bill Keeler on rhythm guitar, Troy Sanders on bass guitar, bass synth, co-lead vocals, and lead vocals on Corellia. And then you mentioned Rich Morris. Scott Kelly, lead vocals on Crack the Sky, and he also did some writing on it. And unfortunately, Scott Kelly is canceled now because he's a child abuser. But
Oh, boo.
yeah, child and wife abuser. But we're going to be talking about him in season 3 because I'm going to bring in albums by controversial people. And one of my favorite happens to be a Neurosis album. So, and then production by Brendan O'Brien, who I think did a terrific job. So,
One thing I like is, like the Alliterates, there is one member who does like no singing.
yeah. I think Bill has since started, if I remember correctly. But yeah, back in the day, he didn't do really anything besides guitar. We got 4 songs on side 1: Oblivion, Divinations, Quintessence. How do you say that? David.
Quintessence.
Yes, Quintessence. And then the Czar, which is 4 different parts. And I know based on your previous reactions to things I've brought in that have 4 different parts, you're usually horrified, but I think you'll actually like this. So.
I'm not horrified of every 4-part song. It's just so many times it's unnecessary.
Well, it's like, this album, I think, is everything that the Iced Earth album wanted to be in terms of like sounding huge, but it just didn't sound huge. Like, I don't know how familiar you are with Iced Earth, Mario.
A little bit. I really don't follow them, but I know who they are, and I've heard some songs.
We did the Glorious Burden album because we wanted to make fun of him on Election Day. Unfortunately, our predictions didn't age well, but I think the episode did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's everything I've got. So we'll go ahead and put on side 1.
Do a side and then talk about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And we are back from side 1. David, what did you think?
That was really cool. I liked it. It hit all the prog points and metal points that I wanted something like this to hit without hitting any of the weaknesses that a lot of prog metal tends to hit. So, you know, it was a very well put together album and had a good vibe to it. Like, I followed the mood it was putting out. I don't know how closely I would have been able to follow the story if you hadn't read that out, but that's fine. That story seemed complicated enough that it would, I would imagine, take a couple listens to fully glom onto that. But
Yeah, for sure. And I think this is the kind of album that when you listen to it, there's something you will pick out like every time. Even myself, who've listened to this album dozens of times, noticed some things that I haven't noticed before. Because there's just there's a lot of layering to the production on this, I feel like. And it has a lot of things going on, but it also doesn't sound overwhelming like a lot of albums like this can.
Yeah, that was one of the things I liked. Like, if you remember my criticism of Dream Theater in the Dream Theater episode, was about how all the changes just seemed random and abrupt and because they could.
Yeah.
That was not the case with any of these. Like, every time there was like a little tempo change or time signature change or key change, it's like, oh, yeah, of course that goes there. Yes.
Yeah, and that's what I put on my overall thoughts is, you know, the mixing is overall balanced but heavy, and the songs, while being complicated, feel very purposeful in their composition.
Yeah. And none of the little more musically complex bits felt like showboating. It just felt like it fit there.
Yeah. Now we'll go over song by song, but Mario, what are your overall impressions of this side?
Yeah, I totally agree with you guys, both points. And, you know, yeah, they weren't very overindulgent like some prog bands or players can be,
Yeah.
you know? Like the solos fit the song. It didn't go out and above and somewhere else into a different, you know, plane. It just stayed with the song. So, and you don't have to have a crazy ass solo and play a million miles an hour to make it good, you know?
That is one thing I put in my notes is it reminded me of how when David Gilmour puts a solo together, like he's able to do a lot with phrasing rather than, you know, just like you said, playing like a million
just
miles per
playing
hour.
notes.
Yeah.
Very perfect. Like I said, purposeful.
Yeah, and thought out and everything. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it. And of course, I love the entire album. That first side was awesome,
Yeah.
and
When it's, you know, yeah, I'm glad you brought up the Dream Theater episode because while I enjoy that album, there are a lot of moments where I'm bored during it. There wasn't a moment during this side I was bored at all. Even on, you know, the shortest song is Divinations at 3:38, and that song feels longer, but I don't mean that in like a negative way. Like there's a lot going on, so it almost felt like they crammed a 5-minute song into a 3-minute song.
Yeah. Yeah, like nothing felt wasted in this. It felt, despite like all that was going on, it felt somewhat spare a lot of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely put a lot of thought into the songwriting, which I really appreciate. And yeah, it's definitely something that's missing from a lot of prog metal, I feel like. Going through track by track, Oblivion, like the solos on it are amazing. And like I mentioned, it reminds me how David Gilmour is able to say like a lot of things with very few notes. And it's also very like precise playing. I also felt like it was a really great opening song too.
Yeah. Like the opening riff sounded really sick, and I thought that was a great way just to start the whole album too.
Yeah, it really set the mood for the whole thing.
yep, agreed. And also, you know, this is probably one of the first songs I can remember hearing Bron Daler sing. So
Yeah.
it's nice to hear him out in front and add that new dimension to the band. And he's been very successful with it. And I think most of their successful songs have him singing in it. So
Yeah, he's got
it's great.
Yeah, he's got a great voice, and yeah, I really respect how he's able to sing and play. 'Cause,
He does it live.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
I've
seen him do it
witnessed
live, and he's probably the band's best singer, if we're going to be honest. at least when it comes to their live show.
I like, speaking of him though, I really like, one thing I really liked that didn't have anything to do with his singing is just like how huge the drums sounded. Like, I don't know if it was how they're mixed, the reverb they added, but like when the drums first started coming in at the end of the intro, it's just like huge, you know, like you could see like an army of drummers playing that outside like a Scottish lock or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Mario, you mentioned that they had a sample or something on the snare drum.
On the chorus, if you listen very closely on the upbeat, it sounds like there's a sample on top of that, like a crushing sound almost.
Yeah.
And I can't think of how they did it in the studio. Maybe they used a combination of like a tambourine hitting a snare drum or something like that. You know, it's got that kind of effect to it.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a nice little tasty thing that they did, you know, studio magic, whatever you want to call it, you know, but it's nice. It really adds to the song.
Yeah, for sure.
And they do those little bits and pieces all over, you know, they're even on the newer records, you know, they're doing, I think he's playing tablas and things like that in certain parts of the songs, you know, which is really cool. So
Yeah, he's a really active
Yeah.
drummer, but in a way that makes it like interesting, not like, oh, I don't know. I'm thinking about, again, the Iced Earth episode where Sean was like, I hate his double bass. His double bass is terrible.
Well, the thing is, like this had no moment where it was just like the typewriter double bass just drowning everything out. When the double bass was there, it was purposeful and it wasn't overwhelming other instrument. It's like one of the things I really loved about this is I could hear every instrument. Like one of my notes about this, which I could have put about any song really, was the rhythm guitar, despite being from the only member who doesn't sing or doesn't play any additional weird instruments, is like obviously essential to the whole thing. Like, I don't think these songs would have worked without that rhythm guitar, and it was just by someone who that was the only thing he did was play rhythm guitar while everyone else was doing their weird experiments, and that worked. That was like a grounding presence throughout the whole thing, so that even when things were going out there, you had something you could latch on to.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of how Sean is the straight man of our group, and he kind of holds everything down while the rest of us are kind of weird and out there.
Yeah, he's the rhythm guitar player, but he also sings. It's our bass player that refuses to use a microphone. But yeah.
Next song, Divinations. The way that they delivered the line, "Rapid descendants, the wormhole is empty," is my favorite. Like one of my favorite parts on the whole album.
I like that. I like that building drums from the that led into the verse from the first verse from the intro. I thought that was cool. Vocal. I really liked the vocal delivery. It was more gruff metal vocals than the first one was. Like the song as a whole was a lot less prog, more straightforward metal than any of the other tracks on it, which is why I'm kind of surprised this one wasn't the single. Was it? No, this was. Oh no, this was one of the singles. Yeah. So yeah, that makes sense to me. This was probably the most like their. Most like
Pretty sure Oblivion
stuff.
came out first as a single, because they also had a video for it.
No, Divinations came out first.
Oh, it did? Wow.
They came out right around the same time, January
Nice.
20th and then February 16th.
Did they have? I don't think they had a video for that one, did they?
I don't think so.
The one for Oblivion is one where they're in space.
Yeah, I remember that
Yeah.
one. Yeah, influenced by Stanley Kubrick. We'll talk about that more when we get to that side.
But yeah, I thought that was cool. Like I thought that was also probably a way for people who were more into what they would have probably done previously to be into a more like proggy spacey album.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's one that early on I gravitated towards the most, is probably because it was the heaviest one. And then later, you kind of expand more into the prog stuff. This also is kind of the transition album between them doing coarse, rough vocals less and more singing vocals like going forward. Because I don't think Troy does any growling anymore, does he?
He does a little bit, but he does sing a lot too.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know Brent still does, but
as a vocalist who used to only yell and now does a lot more singing, I think part of that is just being more comfortable with your voice.
oh yeah, I mean, one of the reasons I quit Megaton at the time is because all I did was scream in that band, and my voice was pretty rough towards the end of our run there, so it took a while to heal from that early. So yeah, I think if you become a big touring band that plays dozens of shows a quarter, I mean, yeah, you kind of have to tone it down, or else you're just gonna damage yourself. Unless you're Max Cavalera from Sepultura, then you get to do that shit for your entire life and not have it affect you somehow. But
Or maybe you just do the Tom Waits thing and blow out your voice on purpose.
next song, Quintet. God, I don't know
Quintessence.
why. Yes, I don't know why I suck at pronouncing that.
It's a hard word.
Quintessence.
I liked the intro. I liked the keyboard electronic noise thing in the intro. I thought that was really, really neat. One thing I really noticed, I noticed it from the first to the second song, obviously, because those were the two most different songs on the whole thing. But one thing I really appreciated, leading into the third song, is unlike not just music in the prog realm, but concept albums in general, sometimes songs flow together and it's hard to tell when one ends and one begins. This one was not that. This was when I really began to notice oh, hey, all of these are just going to have a clear transition point, and that's really cool. That is one of the reasons why I don't always put on a concept album, because it's I want to be able to pick the individual pieces out, and this is I could do that on the first listen, tell when a song ended and a song began, and I really loved that.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be a funny episode, sorry.
Yeah, it makes me wonder. I tried to talk Sean into staying, but I didn't give him enough warning, so he wasn't able to. But I wonder what he would think of this album. I don't know if it would...
Has he ever heard it?
Oh, probably not. I imagine even if it wasn't his thing, he probably wouldn't hate it,
Yeah, I think he would understand why it worked, even if it wasn't his thing. And why it's better than some of the bad prog type stuff we've made him listen to. But yeah, I liked how this one, the first one was like a prog song, but it wasn't this was the first song that was really like sounded spacey to me.
Yeah, it had a really like good drone. Just like you, I marked that I really liked the intro and how it transitioned to it. And yeah, I think that's a good in between song going into the Tsar.
Yeah. Before we get to the Tsar, though, I felt like, like there's part of the chorus where they're just repeating "Letting Go." To me, I don't know if I would have glommed onto that as much if you hadn't told me the intro about how when he was a teenager, his sister committed suicide. But knowing that going into it, it was hard not to think that wasn't a reference to that.
Yeah, it's. I'm hoping that even like our listeners will like get that context, even if you've like heard the album before. Maybe it'll help you. I don't know, enjoy it again.
And also, we're not going to pay to license to play music on our podcast. If you think we should, fuck you. But we do strongly encourage you, if you haven't heard an album that we're talking about, or just want to follow along with what we're doing, feel free to pause the episode, stream the album, listen to the songs as we talk about them. It would be a good way to enjoy the podcast if you feel so inclined.
Yes, indeed. Mario, what did you think of Quintessence?
I'm right in line with you guys. Really, I don't have anything else to add to that one.
I think if I had to pick like my least favorite on this side, it would probably be that one.
I mean, I guess, but that's kind of by default.
Yeah, that's if I was forced to make that decision, I think. But as far as it stands, I mean, one thing I really like about this album, and you'll find out as we listen to the next side, is how well it flows. It's just perfect in the way that they arrange the songs, I'd say. The next song, the Tsar, I really liked the pulsing bass line in Usurper. The opening part of the song. It kind of put me into a trance, and that's one thing I really appreciated about this album overall is how like huge the bass sounded. And I think, David, you pointed out that this song they were probably utilizing a bass synth for this one.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna guess that they use the bass synth in any of the songs that sound spacey.
Yeah,
probably along with the bass guitar.
Yeah, and then. I love how the heavy guitar transitioned perfectly into Escape, which my favorite part of the album is the Escape.
Yeah, I liked how it went from like a slow, creepy, droney keyboard song to a heavy song with the transition between Usurper and Escape. I think this might be my favorite song on the album so far, just because of the way like it all flows one to the other. Like, Martyr to Spiral didn't feel as clear of a transition as Usurper to Escape or Escape to Martyr, but I think that's fine.
I noticed where it changed, but it does seem like the two parts fit together so well that it didn't really feel like two different parts, really.
Yeah.
But I think like that really pretty part was the Martyr part, and then it kind of went into this another like droney like bass sound for Spiral.
And I liked how droney the vocals were, especially in, well, they were the most droney in Usurper, but they're also kind of droney in Spiral. I liked how even at parts when the instruments were less droney too, like the vocals had, were kind of like holding notes for a long period of time and just the tone on the guitar solo for the last part. Like the playing and his tone was just perfect. Like it had that like just old school like vibe, but it also sounded fresh at the same time. And then how it just drifts off with the Mellotron, I thought was perfect. Perfect way to end the side. Yeah, Mellotron, underused instrument because they are finicky and expensive. But they're perfect for prog is part of the reason why. Yeah.
David, I know what you need to do. You need to get that liquid bowl instrument that I think Benjamin Franklin had, where it like rotates around in water, and then you can like touch the bowl, and it's like a big pain in the ass to set up. And if you break one, it's useless.
That's why I use a virtual Mellotron on my computer.
It's not authentic though. You need the authentic bowl instruments that can break if somebody just looks at it wrong.
Yeah. that would break taking it to the venue, and then we would just skip that part. Yeah.
That shows you how much like privilege our founding fathers had, that Benjamin Franklin had time in the 1700s to set up an instrument like that and play it.
And electrocute himself on purpose while flying a kite.
Mario, did you have any thoughts on the Tsar that differs from our own?
Yeah, I just like the way it flowed, really. I like the spacey parts and everything. And just like you said, the whole album flows well.
Yeah, they really put some thought into it. And it actually felt like it deserved to be broken up into parts rather than like that Dream Theater album where they broke it into a suite, and clearly they were just like, oh, we want to do a suite.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
well, you didn't really do the work to make it into a suite.
It doesn't sound like a suite. It just sounds like a really long song.
Yeah.
Yeah. This felt like a suite. Yeah.
But yeah, overall, fantastic first side.
Yeah. Fantastic first side.
The second side is just as good as the first side.
That's good, because a concept album will utterly fail if it falls off on side 2. Like a lot of albums, like there's a lot of great albums where it falls off a bit on side 2, but like if it's a concept album, that's just like, no.
I do love 2112, but like
2112 one side is a concept album, and that is great. And then there's a mediocre album that's on side 2.
yeah, I mean, I don't hate it, but like
I don't hate it, but it's not good.
Yeah, once you listen to the first part of 2112, it's like, well, who's in the mood to listen to Passage to Bangkok?
Passage to Bangkok might be my least favorite Rush song, honestly. and that's entirely based off of that. It goes off of like you just came off of one of their best songs to get to it. Then it's just like, well, what the fuck is this? Yeah.
But the first side is such a banger. That's still one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I have to do an episode on concept albums.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I'll suggest King Diamond.
King Diamond would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have guests bring up albums in, so if you want to bring something in, but I'm thinking I'll probably have you on for the Queensryche Operation.
There you go. That's a great one.
Yeah, that's a great concept album.
Yeah.
Queensryche is much more than Silent Lucidity. Like most people just know them from that one hit that they had, but
Their older stuff is really, really good.
yeah, I didn't like Empire, but all the albums before that,
Yeah.
and then the one right after that, Promised Land, was really good. And then they went into really weird territory, which when I get back to doing bad albums again, I can't wait to do one of theirs.
And now they're 2 bands, right?
No, Jeff
no.
Tate lost the lawsuit, so now Queensryche is just the guitar player, and
The drummer.
no, the drummer actually it sounds like he got forced out or he got hard to work with.
Oh, really?
This sounds like a Black Flag situation.
Yeah. Oh, it's interesting because there was a period of time where Scott Rockenfield left the band to care for his son, and then he just never came back. And the band is claiming that he's just not showing up, but he's claiming that he's ready to go and record an album. So I don't know what is what, but Scott Rockenfield is also, I think he's stopped doing it since then, but he's just was selling Queensryche merchandise on his website.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a big lawsuit. Yeah, it was crazy. But
I mean, if he's selling merch to care for his son, I wouldn't blame him, but you know, who knows?
yeah, I mean,
The
they're
band's probably not getting their full cut, though, if he's doing that, you know.
well, and after their big lawsuit with Jeff Tate, those guys don't have any money. So
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
all that Silent
I
Lucidity.
mean, I saw them in their glory days when they were playing stadiums and stuff, and now they're in clubs.
I saw them once with their new singer, and he sounds great. He's better than Jeff Tate is now. Their original music doesn't really do it for me anymore.
Yeah.
But I digress. We're talking about Mastodon today.
Yeah.
And we got 3 more songs coming at us. We got Ghost of Corellia, Crack the Sky, featuring Scott Kelly, the astronaut. No. Scott Kelly from Neurosis, who is canceled now. And The Last Baron,
That's a banger.
which will certainly be better than the Red Baron off the Iced Earth album. So.
Oh God.
All right.
Sure will be.
And if you're following along at home, we're going to start side 2 now. That didn't stop. All right. Welcome back from side B of Mastodon Crack the Sky. Fellas, what did you think?
It was good. Side 2, yeah, held up to the whole thing. I will probably need to listen to it some more to catch where the whole story was. Like, knowing what the beats were from the summary you gave at the beginning, I kind of figured like when certain things were happening, but it'll probably take a few listens too before I get all that down. But yeah, it was a good album. I liked it. It was a vibe. It was a good vibe.
Just as good as the first side.
And I'm used to listening to it usually in a whole sitting, but you can definitely tell that they thought about the side change dynamic when they plotted this one out. And I think this was kind of came out when vinyl was starting its resurgence, 2009. Does that sound right?
Probably.
Yeah. I suppose that makes sense since I bought it on vinyl initially. So we got a surprise fourth mic who showed up for their episode. What's your name that I'll fuck up through the entire time this time?
You know what? I'm just going to go with good old Petey.
Petey. Unfortunately, you don't have your son with you to provide riveting commentary as well.
Well, I'll let you know that. Oh shit! I forgot what his quote was that everyone loved.
I couldn't tell if they were saying "fuck me" or "suck me."
Oh yeah,
yeah. And he was like, "I think they're saying suck me because they suck."
Yeah, that's right. The brilliance of a 10-year-old.
Yeah,
we should have Edison on the Metal Machine Music and Saint Anger episodes. Well,
he would hate it.
What are your overall thoughts on the album since you came in halfway here, Petey?
Well, I mean, I did listen to it the other day, but I mean, I was also at work, so it was kind of background music, but I mean, I got here probably about 10 minutes left, so halfway through the last song. It's one of the things that I've always liked about Mastodon is I have never once heard or understood a lyric, and I don't care. It is just another sound in the sonic landscape that they create.
Yeah.
I remember the singer for Pinhead Circus was telling me about Leviathan when it came out, and so I went and checked it out, and instantly I fell in love with that. And this one, kind of has the same, like I said, the sonic landscape that they create, and that's one of the things that I just really appreciate. I like the guitar techniques. I mean, and this was partially because I've read this more so than just picking up and knowing it. But Bill Kelleher has talked about his banjo playing and how he uses that to do like banjo rolls in the guitar, and I could hear that in that last song. I really appreciated, kind of hearing the kind of twangy clarity cutting through.
Since you mentioned you came in on Leviathan, I think I forgot in the first part to mention how I came across Mastodon. And it's kind of a funny story because this was back when Blood Mountain was their current one. I had signed up for like one of those like buy one expensive CD, get like 10 free, but I didn't realize that they would just send you CDs randomly in the mail. So they send me like bullshit like Marilyn Manson's current album, and I fucking hate Marilyn Manson. And one of the random ones they sent me was the Mastodon CD. And at first I was like, oh, I don't like new music. New music sucks. It's just the fucking album. And I listened to it anyway. And I'm like, oh, wait, this actually fucking rips.
Yeah, it really rips.
Yeah, so I then bought Crack the Sky because I think it was the current album when that happened. And of course, like I said in the intro, this is one of my favorite albums. I can't really just pick one, but yeah, it's one of my favorites. But yeah, side B holds up the entire album. There's not really any moments where, I want to listen to something else, which tends to happen when I'm listening to bands attempt to do, proggy experiments. But like, that last one, The Last Baron, for instance, it had like crazy, like King Crimson-esque parts. And I don't know, they managed to make the whole thing work where, there's a lot of technical bands that couldn't pull that off,
And they do this shit live too. I've seen it firsthand, and it's like they don't miss a note when they do it. It's amazing. I think this is one of the longer songs that they ever play live.
Yeah.
I remember Braun stayed in a I don't know if you guys ever seen Drumeo, but it's a YouTube channel where they're very professional. They have a lot of top-notch players come in and play drums. They have other people play, other people's songs. It's really great collective atmosphere and everything. And he was on there, and he said, like, when he plays this song live, this is one of the toughest songs for him to get through.
I bet. Yeah.
Like, it is tough for him. And for him to say that, it's huge.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing I noted when we were listening to it is like, imagine having to memorize this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be able to. Like, maybe, it's their job. Like, we all have 9 to 5, so we don't have the luxury of being able to rehearse so much. So maybe that would help. But even that, like, even if I devoted all of my time to just learning that would be really hard.
Yeah, note for note, and
mad
replicating
respect,
that every single time. I mean, that's amazing. Good for them.
Yeah. I wonder how long their practices are to memorize stuff like this too. But yeah.
I have to imagine it'd be similar to when I listened to the guys from Rush talk about like their sessions, because I think I remember them talking about how they were trying to record a suite for one of their albums. I forget which one it was. And they really wanted to do it all in one go, but they couldn't like figure it out. So they had to do it in parts. But I mean, for them to put these songs together, I mean, they have to have like some crazy, like strict rehearsals, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I bet it's like I bet their rehearsals are like their 9 to 5 when they're not touring.
Yeah, it must be, especially if you're doing some crazy stuff like this. And they have some albums that are more, I say, pop oriented in the popular sense, where the songwriting is more basic. But
Where they have 3 to 5 minute songs with fewer chords.
Yeah. But they also have other albums that are technical and difficult to play. So
Very, very technical. Yeah.
yeah.
Like, again, Call of the Macedon. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. I think that was their EP they first came out with before Remission.
Yeah, originally those songs had a different singer, so you can actually find their original demos that ended up becoming Call of the Mastodon with the original vocals. And to be honest, he doesn't sound that different to the rest of the guys screaming at that time period. They sounded a little more, I don't know, monochromatic early on, I remember. So they had a kind of a typical like yeller. Kind of sounded like my old yelling in Megaton. Anyway, what were we?
Are we ready to go track by track?
Yeah, I think we are. So, Ghost of Corellia.
It was, when I first heard it, it was my favorite song of the album so far. And even though by the end of the album it wasn't, it's the one that I am most likely to put on a mix. Because my favorite song of the album was 13 minutes long, and I don't want to put necessarily put a 13-minute song on a mix.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked the electronic stuff in the beginning. It was the one where the bass tone stood out to me the most. I think Mario, you pointed out they were doing like an octave thing, or
Yeah, it was almost like he was doing a melody on the bass in several parts of that song. Like an octave higher. Very nice touch. Also, a lot of double bass in that song. Just a lot of driving double bass. Really nice.
Employed well too.
yeah, it played well because I normally don't like double bass, but there's no moment in this song where the double bass pissed me off.
Yeah, it's not like when Sean was yelling about the double bass on the Iced Earth episode. He's like, I hate the double bass.
I also liked it that it would go from like lighter moments, including like arpeggiated clean guitar, into like heavier parts.
Yeah.
Like how it would go back and forth, and it never felt wrong going back and forth.
Yeah, and they were able to employ a lot of like dynamics in their songwriting, which I think is especially difficult to pull off when you're doing as much shit in these songs as they're doing. Like, there's a lot of layers to this stuff, but you can also hear everything, and it doesn't sound like, one thing I noted on this is it's heavy but not overwhelming.
Yeah.
I feel like the drumming was employed perfectly because like I like double bass, I like heavy tom use. Like in this particular instance, it sounded like, I don't know, like a battleship with its like guns going off like in all directions.
Yeah.
But I also think about how a lot of people don't utilize it in an interesting way. Because I mean, like Scott Travis from Judas Priest uses a lot of double bass, and he's almost always fantastic in all of his songs. But then you think of, I don't know, so many death metal bands that do the same shit for every song, and I've been to
rounding out the bass guitar.
Yeah,
I've
it gets
been
a
to-
little overwhelming.
I've been to shows where it's like, oh, this is the same band 5 times in a row because all I can hear is the fucking bass drum and the snare.
There's no groove to that.
Yeah.
You gotta have a groove.
I keep seeing these memes where it's like when the third opening band sets up on a weekday, and it's like people like staring daggers at them, and I felt that watching like some opening bands where it's like the same drummer doing the same, like sometimes it's even literally the same drummer because sometimes you have like one drummer become 5 bands drummers, but
Sound familiar?
yeah.
And then we were talking about groove on this side of the album. There's more groovy parts and stuff.
There
too.
were, yeah.
You know, there's parts you can bounce your head to and get into it. And
Which, and then the first side was more space, which I guess makes sense with the concept album stuff, where the first part was like a guy floating through wormholes, and this one is a dead soul meeting the devil and all that type of stuff. But yeah.
Next song, Crack the Sky. It's probably the heaviest one on the album, but retains the spaciness.
Yeah.
I like Scott Kelly's raw vocals. You know, that's the only way you get vocals like that is when you develop an astronaut career like his.
I think this is the song where they met the devil.
Well, you know, based on what I've heard about Scott Kelly, he kind of is the devil. Yeah.
I was going for more like that it had more of the chugga chugga heavy metal stuff than
gotcha.
any other song. But yeah.
I'm being really mean to Scott Kelly.
Yeah.
But he probably
I
deserves
don't know.
it.
He got canceled for a reason. So I did like before it got really heavy though, like that guitar intro. Like I even heard some acoustic guitar in that. I think that's the only part of the album where I really heard acoustic guitar. But I think if I gave it another listen through, I'd probably pick it out in more places. But
There's a lot going on that I think this album takes like multiple listens before you even get close to like hearing everything that's going on.
I like that you said that because I remember listening to this for the first time. It does take time to grow on you. And the more you listen to it, the better you're going to like it.
Yeah.
And that's how all their albums are to me. The more you listen to them, the more you're going to like them.
Yeah, and most of their albums, I don't know, it's like there's a Mastodon album for every mood, it seems like.
Oh, yeah.
And then the last song, The Last Baron, a lot going on in that one.
Jesus, what a fucking song this thing is.
it was the epic. I did miss the transition point because that's when Pete got here, and but
They got groovy again.
Yeah,
You missed
yeah.
a couple groovy parts.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the problem with the song. That's the problem of saying hi to someone as he came in. So it was definitely at some point it's like, oh, we're definitely in a different song now. But
My bad.
I'll listen to it again. Yeah.
Well, and I particularly like the moments where it got really jazzy and King Crimson-y. Yeah, it was just going into some like crazy directions, and it makes me
Different time signatures.
and just I don't know, it's going nuts, and I don't know, I want to listen to this on mushrooms sometime.
Yeah. It did.
It's like when I listen to Piper at the Gates of Dawn on mushrooms, I'm like, oh, this is like the first time I've heard this album, even though I've listened to it a million times. I bet you it'd be the same.
But even when it, would get crazy and like veer off in all different places, it was always grounded. And I think a lot of that was the rhythm guitar. Like the rhythm guitar, like kept things down and gave you something to latch onto as everything else was getting more chaotic. And then you could like latch onto that, and then and it wouldn't get like completely out of control for very long, and would circle back around, and everyone would come back together, and so like it wasn't like impossible to follow.
Yeah, and you pointed out in the Dream Theater episode, they would attempt things like that, but I don't know. I think they just had a problem not being able to rein themselves in, and makes me wonder what they'd sound like if they had somebody produce them like this album, if that would improve their sound, or if that's just Mastodon are too good at writing songs for that to translate to another band like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, they keep progressing, and that's what we talked about earlier. Just every album is different. And this song in particular, I mean, if you go the rest of your life not hearing another Mastodon song, at least pop this one in and check it out. If you don't have time to listen to this whole album, my picks would be the first and the last song. And the last Baron, it's just like, it's like a drum solo. If you took away all the guitars and everything else and just left the drums there, it would be a drum solo.
Yeah.
And a very good one.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think I could do better.
All right, well, there's a challenge.
You're wrong.
We got 3 drummers in the room here. Drum off.
I think he means the beat off.
Circle jerk. Well, all right.
Maybe we should do the circle jerks at some time.
That'd be a fun one.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, that was Crack the Sky by Mastodon. David, that's kind of your first proper Mastodon experience, I'd say.
Yeah, other than like a few hits here and there. Yeah. As an album all the way through. Yeah, I liked it. I would recommend it. I'll listen to it again at some point, honestly. Yeah.
And you will, because I accidentally bought this album again, so I gave him my copy.
Yes,
My
so
old
I have
one.
a copy of this on vinyl too. Yeah. And I put off listening to it for the episode so I would have the proper, fresh response that our listeners expect.
I thought it was funny how Sean was begging me to like turn it off when we were doing the Def Leppard episode, and I was like, the listeners would know if we were faking it. He's like, no, they wouldn't.
I would like to think that they would know if we were faking it, but maybe they wouldn't.
I mean, God, by the end of that one, of like all my criticism for all of these songs are exactly the same. So
It did get to that point, but like the listeners wouldn't have noticed that March of the Wooden Zombies was at least a nice change of pace. Yeah.
Mario, what do you think of Def Leppard?
Man, I've always hated them, really. Seriously, dude. Even I'm old enough. I grew up in the '80s, so I had to live through that. Yeah, and till now, every time you turn on the freaking radio station, there's a Def Leppard song.
One of my favorite jokes from that episode is Sean is like, "Well, the drummer lost an arm and nobody noticed."
But yeah, back to Mastodon. This is I want to check out more of the catalog too. Like get into a little more of the deep cuts, because if you can put out a whole album that's this consistent, you don't want to just listen to the singles, you know.
Which one, Mario, do you think he should check out next? Based on this one,
Then their newest album is fucking phenomenal. I can't say enough good things about that album.
Once More Around the Sun kind of has a really proggy vibe.
Yes, that's another great album. This one goes beyond that.
Yeah.
Beyond that. And they get into a little more singing, a little more vocal harmonizing, which is nice, and a little more experimentation with different, drums and things like that, and textures. A lot of texturing on this one. There's some more keyboards, and they got a new producer on this one too.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's good because I got Emperor of Sand when it came out,
Mm-hmm.
and it did nothing for me.
Yeah, they got a I can't think of his name. I'm sorry. We'll have to look it up later.
I didn't dislike Emperor of the Sand, but I don't really remember a thing about it. So I did listen to their latest one, and I'll have to pop it on again. But yeah, I do remember it being really damn good.
Yeah, it's one of those you got to listen to it many times.
Yeah.
It does grow on you.
Yeah.
And God damn, it reaches some new feelings and things like that. You can tell the band was going through, and they portrayed it in their music. It's very well done.
Nice.
Oh, one place you probably know Mastodon from before is the introduction to the Aqua Teen movie. Where
That was them. Wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to get into more heavier stuff, go back, listen to the early stuff.
That must have been
This
more
shit
than
is just
stuff.
blistering. It is so good.
Yeah.
Remission is on fire. I mean, that's kind of the one that kind of put them on the map,
Yeah.
and
Well, and Leviathan is the one that I think most like. I don't know, normies know.
Yeah.
Probably because
That was more
One
a little,
Thunder
little
became
more
a meme for a
commercialized
while.
on
Yeah.
that one.
If you were to compare Megaton's songwriting to any album, I think it came close to Leviathan or Remission when we were at our best anyway.
Yeah.
And on that note, I wouldn't compare Megaton.
See, I knew he was going to say something.
Yeah.
I was like, Steve, I love you, but no. Not even close.
Not even your wildest dreams.
Hey, you agreed with me earlier.
I was dreaming.
I'm pretty sure you weren't even in the same tuning.
See? I think they go lower.
So you're saying they go down?
Yes.
All right.
All right. We got anything else to say?
We got Mario's pluggables taken care of at the beginning, so I don't think we have much else. No.
Little reminder. Oh yeah, I'm from the band Altura. I play drums from Omaha, Nebraska, and we are playing January 17th at the Reverb Lounge in Omaha, Nebraska, and we'll be headlining that show. And we'll
This might be
be
coming out
in the
right now.
studio in mid-December, recording a new song. So we'll put out a new single for that show and kind of promote that around. And yeah, check us out. We're on all the social medias, YouTube, Altura Band, Altura Band, Omaha, Nebraska. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Pete,
How do you spell Altura?
Altura.
So exactly how it sounds.
Yeah. Thank
Well,
you.
I would
yeah.
I would might have been with a UL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Altura.
Altura.
Pete, you're retiring. You don't have any pluggables. And this,
This episode is coming out after your last shows, so yeah, it's gonna be in January. Yeah.
it might come out right around the same time you mentioned, though. So.
It'll come out probably before if
Yeah.
we go by the schedule we talked about. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. Thanks for coming on. We'll have you back probably for the Queensryche episode and sounds like the Megadeth episode.
Yes.
On the flip side.
Well, thank you for having me.
Side 1, Side B with Dave and Steve is a Floof Goof Studios production. You could find us on Instagram at KillRockMusicSWS and Dave_Diction. You can find us on Bluesky at KillRock Music and Beastmaster General. Check out our musical projects, The Alliterates and Lucid Fugue, on all major streaming platforms, and links to each at my website, killrockmusic.com. That's KILRAVOCK music.com. This also includes my past projects, Megaton and Valley of Shadows, and my current solo project, Kill Rock. You can also find Dave's past project, Gong Farmer, at GONGFERMOUR.bandcamp.com. Thanks.
Everyone we've worked with is dead.
Really ripped.
Yeah.